Well, greetings YouTube, by Kaylee7. I'm on my way home from work. How you doing? The gear's down on its own, isn't that great? Oh, yay. That's awesome. So today's topic is the skills of riding. Now, as you probably know, if you are a motorcycle rider, skills are important. And when I was riding my Harleys, I focused a lot more on slow speed maneuvering, like U-turns, getting the bike to do what you need it to do, like to ride like a pro guy. Jerry Palladino, great guy, great guy. And then later on, I started getting more into the cornering characteristics in twisties. You know, that whole outside, inside, outside kind of thing. And I've been watching a lot of videos lately about the race bike guys and the way they see cornering. And I think you can learn a lot from that if you're riding a bike that is of a similar style. This bike is not quite, but closer than a Harley was. You know, that whole chin over wrist thing is kind of harder to do on a Harley. Although I did do it. And I did see the benefits of it. And then making sure that you're looking farther ahead than you might usually. So I'm always trying to look farther and farther ahead. And trail braking and all those dimensions. And how the motorcycle handles and why you do things the way you do. There's this French guy, he won the 2014 World Championship in Superbike or something. Really nice YouTuber. He's a test rider now for Yamaha or something. And he really explains things well. It's like you're taking a master class in how to race a motorcycle. And of course, like I said, it's not something that you're going to be applying to any great extent on the street, because that's not what the street's for, right? But the principles, I think, are still sound and in many ways applicable to a lesser degree. You know, choosing the right place to start, you know, leaning your bike into the corner, slowing before you get to the corner, and then, you know, trail braking through, and then in the apex, when you see your straight line out of it, you know, on throttle. And I think those are admirable things to practice for me. And so that's what I'm kind of into today, is the not parking lot stuff. Now, this whole knee down thing, I have a much better understanding of it now. First of all, you really shouldn't do the whole knee down thing on the street, you know, because obviously that's not what the street's for. And if you make a mistake, you know, you're going to go in the ditch or in a car. I mean, it's going to be bad for you. So if you're going to do the knee down thing, that would be something you would naturally evolve into if you were riding on the track. As you lean more and more and more and use your body more and more and more, eventually you'll get to that place where your stuff will touch the ground as you go. But you don't have to do that necessarily. The experts will tell you there's not a huge amount of difference in your lap times or whatever, if you're putting a knee down. Not everybody does. Not everybody feels the need to. And then, you know, putting your right foot out before a corner or your left foot out before a corner. I've seen a lot of that in the race bike circuit. And there's a reason for everything they do. And if you want to learn about what a bike can do, then the race guys are the ones that you want to be learning from. Just like if you want to learn how to do U-turns and you know, that type maneuvering stuff, you want to learn from cops. You definitely want to learn that skill from cops because they go through that training extensively. Now, of course, you know, again, I'm on the street and I'm commuting. You know, I'm at best a middling motorcyclist. I'm not anywhere near a great rider of any kind. But I am a person who's interested in learning all that I can about my beloved bike and how it operates and how to maximize my abilities as a rider to get the most out of the experience safely. And a lot of the things that I've learned just were from experience, like the scraping of the pegs thing. You know, I was considering it kind of a badge of honor on the Harley. And then on this bike, I even bought the titanium pucks. But I realized when I was doing my trips 2 years ago that if you're leaned over so far in a sharp corner, you know, you're on a mountain twisty and you're going pretty quick and you're leaned over and you start scraping, you've maxed out the lean capacity of your motorcycle and you've got nothing else to lean on. You've got your traction is now about to be levered off the ground if you go any farther. And I did do that on this bike on the road to Hawk's Nest. I learned what the lean limit was. And so then I started focusing more on how to avoid leaning too far, like leaning my body more than the bike. And that's because you want to have as much contact between your tires and the road. And when you're leaned over, you're maximizing the capacity of your tire, and not in a good way. I mean, not totally upright, obviously, but you want to have more like, kind of like what I'm doing right here. On this big sweeper. That was just a demonstration of, you know, the kind of thinking. You want to move your body more. We're not necessarily at the point where, you know, slide one cheek off kind of thing and you know, hang way down with your elbow way out and your knee and blah. Not on a ride like this. You know, I'm doing what, 45 miles an hour. So eventually I think I'd like to, you know, every time I ride I try to practice a little bit. I see every ride as a learning experience. Today I'm focusing a little bit more on cornering. And then apex. Throttle on. Also looking farther ahead. Plan your route. Look where you want to go. And that's something that I learned, you know, very early on. Look where you want to go. Look through your corners. But it's getting even more vital for me now to do exactly that. Especially if I get a bike that's, you know, more sport oriented. It's not in the tuck position, so it's not a sport bike per se. It's kind of a hyper naked sporty type of bike that you can commute with and tour with, apparently. That's what they're all saying. And it does feel very friendly, very nimble but friendly. It's not anything that you feel like you could make a mistake with the throttle and suddenly you're at warp speed. Everything is intentional on that bike. So if I get that bike, I'd like to bring up my game a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I'm too close to this truck. I'm going to treat these like I'm at the track. A little bit, more planning in my corners. This has got gravel in it. I ain't doing shit, but just lumpty dumpty. There we go. So just having my typical motorcycle thoughts on the way home. I'm by no means an authority on any of this. I'm just some fat, middle-aged white guy going home from work. Former English teacher, currently college administrator. I'm just a simple man trying to make his way through the world. You guys stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later.